Hello and welcome to the vlog. I'm Liselle Sambury. I'm a traditionally published author, and for this writing vlog I'm going to be working on my 2023 novel Butcherbirds, which is about a 17-year-old reluctant medium whose mother inherits a house in Northern Ontario that is full of secrets. So it's like a dual timeline sort of thing, following two girls, one who's experiencing something and the other one who is investigating what was experienced. So I'm working on edits for that. So I got my edit letter from my from my editor on Saturday. And I just looked through it, kind of like browsed through it to kind of give myself an idea of what was going on, and things looked good. My editor had a deadline of November 21st and asked me if that worked for me, and it did. And so I was basically like, I guess, hit the ground running on that. I take the weekends off, so I didn't do anything on Sunday. So I started working on it on Monday. So part of my day was eaten up by my cover reveal. So I revealed the cover for the sequel to my debut novel, Blood Like Magic, which is Blood Like Fate. I will pop up a picture over here. But for visually impaired folks, the cover is a blue/teal cover with kind of like snowflakes in the background, featuring my main character Voya, who is a black girl with thick, naturally curly hair. It's in like an up and down, half up, half down do, and she's in a white dress, and she has a scar on her chest, which if you've read the first book, you'll know what that is. There's also a flash of red going through her hands, which you will also know what that is if you have read the first book. And because this has come up like a couple times, it's not a wedding dress. That I'm fine with saying that. I'm not like, this isn't even a spoiler because this is not even something I had in my head. It is not a wedding dress. In the first book, she wears a calling dress, which is white, and so she is similarly wearing a white dress for something else that happens in the second book. So that's why she's in a white dress. She's not getting married. What was I going to say about it? Oh, it also says on top, it says the spellbinding sequel to Blood Like Magic, which I really enjoy because of the spellbinding and witches and all of that stuff. So I'm really excited to have revealed my cover and have gotten to finally say the title of my sequel, which is Blood Like Fate, and that'll be out August 9th, 2022. I will have links below if you want to pre-order it or add it to your Goodreads or both. And yeah, I'm very excited about like getting closer in the process to the final book. I still have to do copy edits and pass pages on it. Not sure when those are coming. But those will be coming in the future. So I did that, and that took up a chunk of my day because I was like getting everything posted and stuff. But then once I finished all of that, I was able to jump into my Butcherbirds edits. So the way I work with my edit letters is that my editor tends to ask me a lot of questions. And so what I did is that I went in and I bullet point noted my answers to all of the questions essentially, and like how I was going to fix all of the things that she brought up. There were really like straightforward things, and some of them were things that I had like put in the book, but clearly I hadn't made them obvious enough or like apparent enough to readers if she wasn't picking up on it. So those are things I kind of had to make more obvious. So a lot of the things I already knew how to fix it. It was just kind of beefing up what I already had, and some world building things I need to fix. I've been like tweaking since the beginning the way that the house works, because it is a special house, and I have been tweaking in the beginning the way some of the characters, like things they can do, works. And so it's just like more tweaking of that and like making that world building work and that sort of thing. This is one of the cases, again, this book, where I didn't plan the world building particularly well in the beginning, and now I have to retcon things, and it's like, you think I would have learned about that from Blood Like Magic, but I really did not learn. So yeah, things that I have to fix in that case. But yeah, they're all really doable edits. I don't think there's anything where I'm gonna have to like add in a new chapter or change a new chapter. The biggest change that I have to do for this book is my second POV. Originally, she was like 26, and she's going to be aged down to fit more within YA. So she's going to be now a 19-year-old university or college student. What am I thinking? I was like, I think I'm gonna put her in Toronto Film School. So I was like, I think that's a college, or it's just like a school, I don't know. So she's gonna be 19 now, so I have to fix that with her to make sure all of that is working. And I think that's my biggest fix, and even that isn't like a huge fix, because for one, it's the summer, so she's on summer break, and two, she's working at this company, and now she's just going to be interning at this company during the summer, so she's not going to be in school anyway. So like a lot of things will be similar in any case. I just need to tweak some stuff. So they're all pretty doable changes. So what I did on Monday and Tuesday was that I did my bullet point lists of all of that, and Tuesday being today. And then finally what I did is I have a chapter summary for my story, and I basically just like took all the bullet point notes I had and plugged them into places on the chapter summary for where I want to add them. And so I've also planned out how long I think this is going to take me. So I've set myself 13 days to work on this. So it's like basically like the next 3 weeks to work on it, which I think is legitimate. And that'll bring me into the first week of Nano. So for the first week of Nano, I will still be working on Butcherbirds edits, and that'll be my like Nano thing. And then I'll switch over to working on my adult horror for the remainder of Nano, essentially. So I talked about this in my last vlog over here. I kind of wanted to get it done for the middle of Nano to hand it over to my agent, but then I just emailed my agent and I was like, is it okay if I get it to you by the end of November or like mid or like early December? And she was like, yeah, that's totally fine. So there's not any sort of rush on that in any case. So I could use the rest of Nano to do all of that drafting, because I have to draft new parts and then editing. But for the purposes of this vlog, we're going to be focusing on my edits for Butcherbirds. So I will catch back up with you probably on Wednesday still, even though I started this on Tuesday because my Monday update was too chaotic. And maybe in some ways this update is also a little bit chaotic, but somehow feels better. Standing update in a slightly different standing spot, mostly because I wanted to show off my copy of Other Boys by Damien Alexander, which I think you should read. You should check out. It's a graphic novel. It's real cool. This is what some of the illustrations look like. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super sweet. There were definitely some like heartbreaking moments, but I like overall thought it was like super heartwarming, and yeah, you should check it out. I will have a link below. What did I come here to talk about? Books and writing. I was like, I did talk about books and writing. So today is Thursday. I would have probably already flashed that on the screen somewhere anyway, but yes, today is Thursday. And what have I done today? So I did writing sprints with a friend. So I woke up at like 9. Well, I woke up slightly before 9 because the dog woke me up, and I like actually rolled out of bed and was like, let me just like get to working. So I did 2 chapters on my own, and then I edited the 3rd chapter doing sprints with a friend. The 3rd chapter I needed to do the most work on. So I can't remember if I've said this yet or not. Yes, I think I have, but one of the POVs I had to age down, and so I've been like having to do the most tweaking with those chapters, not even just because of the aging down, but also there were some things that I had kind of made more clear in that chapter that I wanted to actually, my editor suggested kind of pulling back and making things not as evident, or like providing more smaller breadcrumbs along the way versus like saying like, this is how this is right early on. So I've been adjusting for that as well. And that just takes more time with that character's chapters, because she's the one that's investigating what happened to the other POV character. And so there's a lot more bits and pieces because they're trying to solve this mystery, and they're trying to bring certain things to light, and they're trying to like expose things, so they're doing like their own investigation. And so I have to think a lot more about all the different clues and stuff that come into that chapter. I keep saying their chapter. It's a girl, her name is Brittany, but she's a YouTube duo, so she works with another character named Devon, and they work together as a team to do this YouTube show. And so that's why I keep saying their chapter, because like they're almost always both in the chapter together, so it feels like more like Brittany and Devon's chapter than like just Brittany's chapter, but it is in Brittany's point of view. So yeah, that's going really well, and I'm really enjoying still doing my main character, so Daisy, her chapters, and like basically like most of the tweaking is like adding in some things. Also, like her dad in my previous drafts hasn't ever like shown up or had speaking lines. He was just kind of like a figure in the background, and in this version I'm adding in, she's having like phone conversations with her dad, so we can flesh out that relationship more, which was something my editor suggested, like wanting to know more about how she feels about her relationship with her dad, because previously he just didn't talk to her, and now I've made it so they have a conversation, but they have a very disjointed relationship. And so yes, now they have phone conversations, so I had to add that in today. And yeah, it's still going well. Did I update yesterday? No, I didn't. What did I do yesterday? More chapters. I've been doing 3 chapters a day. So I've just been going along like that, but yeah, it's been going good. Sometimes it takes like longer to do something, but I'm not super noticing the passage of time because I'm enjoying the edits that I'm doing, and I'm enjoying the story, and I'm enjoying how everything is coming together. I suspect that things will become more frustrating when I get to the middle, or like not even the middle, the second act, because that's when I have to start explaining everything that's happening in the house a lot more and making that a lot more coherent. And I think that's where like some of the breakdown is happening, whereas like now I'm like still, I think I'm technically into the second act now, but I was still very close to the first act, and that was, I think, the cleanest portion. So I'm sure that as I go on, things might become a little bit more frustrating, but for now I'm still in a good spot. I have one more day of editing for this week on Friday, and then I'm going to take my break for the weekend. I don't think I said that. So when I said like I'm going to take 13 days to edit this, I meant 13 business days, because I don't work on the weekends. So that will be happening as well. And then this vlog will be 2 weeks, and I can't remember if I said that either, but that is what's going on. And yeah, I'm really pleased about how things are going, and I will check back in with you when I check back in with you, because I keep saying I'm going to do a certain day and then I don't do that day. Monday. It is Monday, obviously, starting off a new week of working on edits. So I've set myself up to start this morning. A little bit of a later start this morning, but I don't mind. I'm a lot more flexible with my schedule with editing. I find that when I'm drafting, I really notice the time. So because I'm having to constantly outpour words, I really notice when time is passing. I'll really notice when I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing this forever. Like, even though it's like a part of the process I really enjoy, and I would say I enjoy drafting more than editing. I really like notice the passage of time, which is why when I'm drafting I need to have a very strict schedule. I need to be up at 9, I need to be at the computer at 9, I need to work until 12, I need to take a break. I have to do all of that stuff to make sure I'll actually do the work. But with editing, I find that I'll do it and I won't really notice the passage of time, so I won't realize that like, oh, it's been like 3 hours and I've been working on a single chapter. So I usually am more flexible with my time because I'm not as like bogged down by the amount of time it takes. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on again this week. And then we'll finish up the vlog at the end of this week, and then next week will be the start of NaNoWriMo, which I will be doing a NaNoRebel type thing, but it will still be NaNoWriMo, which is exciting. Yeah, so that's my plan for this week. Today I haven't done anything yet because I've, again, just pretty much woken up and I'm just getting myself set up at my walking desk, which I haven't been using, and I really realized like how much of an effect like not being more properly active has had, because on the weekend we went on a hike and there was this giant hill at the end, and it was just like I was like the only person like panting, like so short of breath. My legs burned, I had to take a break, and I was very much like, wow, like 2 years ago that would have not been me. I really would have been like full speed ahead, absolutely fine. And so I was like, I really need to get more active, because I haven't been doing a lot of walking standing at the walking desk. I've mostly been standing during the morning, and then I like sit in the afternoon, because like actually like standing is like harder on me than if I was just walking. But then I like didn't want to walk is a whole thing. So trying to get back to like walking on the treadmill more regularly, so at least for an hour 3 times a week, and then I'm hoping that 2 times a week I can do more of like a heart pounding sort of exercise. I saw some like fun like dance video things on YouTube. I can't dance at all, but I do think it's fun, so I figured I would do those on the in-between days, and that can help me like hopefully get into more of a routine of like moving regularly. And I was talking to my boyfriend about like trying to get out and like do more outdoor things, though I know like because of my sensitivity to the cold, like once it's too cold I'm like, I'm not gonna be doing it. But once there's still like nice weather and we can like do something like that again on the weekend, that would be good. So yeah, trying to get back into that state of mind, because I went really hard on the walking desk when I first got it, and then I like slowly petered off so hard. There was a week I was just taking my computer to the couch, a couple weeks I'm pretty sure just like sitting there for most of the day. So trying to get back on this horse there. So yeah, that's my plan for today / the week, and I will see you on Wednesday. For real this time, I will actually see you on Wednesday. Hello, it is Wednesday. Things have been going. I started yesterday to get really stressed out about thinking about the way my projects have all, for some whatever reason, are now overlapping on in November, and just being like super stressed out about, oh my gosh, I have to do all of this stuff at once in November. And I can't remember if I explained everything that I have going on in November now, but I got my copy edits, so I have that. I will talk about this, I guess, more later on, but long story short, so my proposal for my 4th book, my publisher had some concerns about it, and so I have to revise that, and I have to do that. I don't have to do that in November, but I would like to do that in November because I'd like to get it to them sooner rather than later, and to kind of just get all of this cleared up and know what I'm going to be doing, because I imagine that during the holidays publishing will fall off, and so I'm worried that if I give it to them later, I'll have to worry about this basically my entire holiday, and I'd rather not. And then I have to do my adult horror. Yeah, so I basically got 4 projects that I need to work on in November, and I started to think about it and I started to panic a little bit. But I've arranged my calendar now and I've fixed it so it's a lot better. So right now, my deadline for Butcherbirds edits is November 21st. My deadline for copy edits is November 10th. So in that last week when I'm editing Butcherbirds, I'm also going to be working on my copy edits. And I've decided that what I'm going to do is, after I finish those edits, I'm going to let the project rest for a week. And then the week after, which is the week that my edits are due, I'm going to do a read through of the project. And that way I don't have to panic so much about like if I'm getting everything perfect when I'm editing it now, because I'll know, okay, I'm still gonna I'm gonna have another time to read everything through. I think I was feeling panicked because I was like, I have so many things going on, and I kind of like, I need to get that done so I can start on this thing and the next thing. And so I decided to use that extra time that I have in the deadline to give myself time to go back and read through everything with a really fine-tooth comb. And then I'll have the break to give me separation. So hopefully I'll catch things that I might not have caught when I was editing. And then it'll just be like extra peace of mind to know, okay, yes, this edit is exactly what I want it to be. So now I'm feeling much better. And I know that for the Newlyweds, my adult horror, I can get that to my agent closer to early December. So I've also expanded it so that I give myself more time during NaNoWriMo to work on it. And that way my workload isn't as heavy, which will make it a lot better, because at some point during NaNoWriMo, I'll have to work on reading over Butcherbirds at the same time that I am drafting for the Newlyweds. So I've switched up my calendar. I've given myself more time for things, and so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed about it now. Edits are going well. I've been kind of like, this is also why I want to read it through, because some things I've been kind of adding on the fly. Like, I didn't necessarily super plan them out, but then I had an idea that I thought would be good, and so I'm trying it. So in the book, the second POV, which is Brittany, and she's the one doing the investigation of the first POV. So there is a contact that they have who they're communicating with, who's helping them with the investigation. And originally that contact, I didn't talk about them at all, and I just revealed who it was at the end. And my editor's note, which was a legitimate note, was like, can you give more clues about who this might be and that they have this contact, etc., so that the reader has chances to guess who it is as well, so it feels more earned when they get to the end, which I agreed with. And so now I've decided that I want to make the contact also secret to the POV, so they also don't know who is contacting them, because I think that'll make it more salient, and also I just think it's fun. So I added that in. So that's one of those things that I kind of added on the fly, that like when I do my read through, I want to make sure that I'm doing that correctly. So that's how editing has been. It does feel so slow, and I think it feels so slow because the last time that I did like developmental edits that were like really heavy was when I did the Blood Like Fate edits, and I did those like a while back. It feels like several months back, and so that I needed to take a bunch of time. I think I ended up taking like a month, maybe 2 months. I took a lot longer than I thought I was gonna take fixing that and doing all of those edits. And so that's the last time I did like a really lengthy edit. And so I think now that I'm back to doing that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so long. This is taking me so long to do this. I also had a panic on Tuesday because I forgot that when I started this process, I had to take 2 days to plan edits. And so I thought I was like 2 days behind. And I was like, what happened? Why did I do this? How did I do this? How am I 2 days behind? And then I realized what happened is that I took 2 days to plan, and that's why it wasn't lining up. So like Tuesday was just like a day of like a lot of random panic for no reason, which is maybe why I like spent half of the day like just like chilling and watching movies and stuff. And yeah, so that was basically it. But today I've been working on it. So I did 1 chapter in the morning. When I get off of this, I will do 2 more chapters and then I'll be done for the day. And then I would like to get some reading done. I've been reading Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood, which is like an Ethiopian inspired sort of like gothic fantasy. And so I've been reading that gothic fantasy slash like paranormal. It's like ghosts and stuff. Kind of, not quite. They're like manifestations, but I would say it's like spooky ghost-like things. So I've been reading that, and so I'd like to finish that today if I could. And that would be my last Black Weenathon read, but we will see what actually happens. So yeah, that's the catch up, and I will chat with you again on Friday. Hello, it is Friday. It is the end of this writing vlog, not the end of me working on Butcherbirds. I think I've gotten used to writing vlogs where when I finish, I'm like finished some sort of stage of a project, but in this case, it's like, yeah, this is very ongoing. So I am just past the midpoint, and I have been steadily adding words despite not really wanting to do that, but it's just the way it is. I have to add a bunch of information, change up other information. I've been trying really hard to simplify some things, while also kind of addressing and like answering the questions that my editor had. So I think that's going well. I've also ended up kind of like adding a couple elements, and it's not like they're new things, it's just kind of information that was presented later on in the book. I'm trying to find more organic ways to present it earlier in the book, and also I hope that will help readers learn information more gradually instead of feeling like it's all dumped on them at one time, or feeling like one character is like conveniently dumping everything on you at once. I want it to feel more like building blocks are slowly coming together every which way, and so I hope that's coming together correctly in the way I wanted it to. There comes the dog, who of course had no interest in being in this room before, but now that I'm recording something, every interest in being in the room. But yeah, so it's been long. It's been like I think when I've been working on edits in the last little while, it's been very much like, or even drafting, it hasn't been like super heavy work days. So it's really, I've been working like a couple hours a day, whereas this is like, these edits are taking me a long time. For one, this is a much longer book, so my chapters are longer. I've also been trying to split up the chapters so I don't have these giant 5,000 word mega chapters. One of the POVs, those chapters are always going to be that big just because she doesn't have a lot of chapters to begin with. And then she's doing interviews, so there's more back and forth. So those chapters tend to be longer, and I'm fine with that. But like the other POV, the main POV, I don't want to also have her having these giant mega chapters. So I've been trying to split them up more as well. And so yeah, it's been taking me a long time to go through it. Yesterday I was like doing edits until like 6:30 at night, which is really usually not for me. And I know that doesn't sound late, but for me, I usually start in the morning and like take my little break at lunch, and I'm usually done everything I need to do for the day like close to 2 o'clock. But yesterday it was like all the way until 6:30. I didn't wake up until, I didn't like get down to working until 10:30, and so I was basically just working continuously that whole time, which I don't usually do. So I had a lot to get done. Yesterday was when I had 2 mega chapters, one after the other. So I had a 5,000 word mega chapter and then a 5,000 word mega chapter right after, and I was like, why do you do this to yourself? So anyway, but I think it's going well. I think there's going to be a lot more. I think the intrigue is working better in this case. I think that chapters that felt like they were a little bit more discussions between characters, I feel like I've been able to add more intrigue to them with certain elements. In the original draft, the main character's dad is like really absent, and my editor was kind of like, I'd love to learn more about their relationship, and so I actually ended up adding it. And so he has these regular phone calls with her, and her dad knew her mom, of course, but when they were growing up, and he's one of her only friends, like he's one of 2 of the friends that's been in the house, but he like doesn't want her to stay in the house, and so now he has this piece into it in which he's calling her and he's like, please don't go to that house. What's going on with the house? What's happening while you're there? Tell me everything. I really wish you would not stay in the house. And like he's got his own element there, as well as like them trying to kind of create their own relationship through there. So yeah, I think that's all things that are helping. I am excited about the direction it's going in. But I'm like feeling the fatigue. I'm feeling the fatigue of editing. So I'm very happy that it's Friday and I will get the weekend off. And then next week will be NaNoWriMo. I will be nano-rebelling. You can watch my nano-rebel writing vlogs that will be starting next week. And so that first week I'm going to be finishing my edits on Butcherbirds, and I'm also going to be doing the copy edits for Blood Like Fate. So I'm going to be doing both of that next week. So look forward to that vlog. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And I hope that you will be joining me during Nano, whether or not you are nanoing yourself or not. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!